Hello students, my name is Dr. Devdatta and I am from the Zoology Department, Wilson College. Today we are going to speak about the carbon cycle, which is a very important nutrient cycle. Now when you talk about the nutrient, what are the nutrients required for the organisms? Basically every organism for the growth and their reproduction, they require the nutrients. Nutrients are available in the ecosystem and they are present in the soil, and basically they vary from ecosystem to ecosystem or in any particular ecosystem according to the season. They generally vary. They have been continuously being recycled in the ecosystem. Now if you see the definition of the nutrient cycling, the movement of the elements through various components of the ecosystem is called as a nutrient cycling. That is called the nutrient cycling. Nutrient cycling is also designated by another name, which is called as a biogeochemical cycle. Now basically when you talk about the nutrient cycling, nutrients are being cycled from the abiotic component to the biotic component and back from the biotic component to the abiotic component once again. Coming to the next thing, that is nothing but about the various types of nutrient cycles which are been there. There are basically two types of nutrient cycles. One is called as a gaseous one, and the one is called as a sedimentary. Now what's the difference between a gaseous and the sedimentary? Gaseous means what? If the reservoir is the atmosphere, that is nothing but the air through which the element is being cycled, that time it is called as a gaseous cycle. And in the nutrient cycle, the starting point of the reservoir is Earth's crust, that is nothing but the reservoir, that is nothing but the soil. Then it is called as a sedimentary cycle. The best example of the gaseous cycle is nothing but the carbon and the nitrogen, while the best example for the sedimentary cycle is nothing but the phosphorus. What is the meaning of the word reservoir? Reservoir is nothing but just they are being, you can say that they are the godowns, the storehouses. They basically sometimes fill up the deficit which can be generated during the influx or the efflux of the nutrient cycle. When the nutrient cycle is been going on, sometimes there is a deficiency. This deficiency is being completely fulfilled by the reservoir. In the reservoir, there is one more term which is also called as sink. Now, sink is nothing but a very huge storehouse which is there for a very long span of time for a particular nutrient, that is called as a sink. The fossil fuel are considered to be the sink for the carbon cycle. Now, coming to the next thing, which is nothing but the carbon cycle. As you all know, the carbon element is present in the atmosphere, is a gaseous cycle, and in the air it is present in the form of carbon dioxide. The plants absorb the carbon dioxide during the process of photosynthesis with the help of the sunlight, and they convert this CO2 into organic carbon, which is their food material. This food material is eaten up by the animals, the herbivores, and this organic carbon gets transferred from plants to the animals. Basically, when these plants die, they undergo anaerobic decomposition and they are converted into fossil fuels. So once again, this organic carbon goes into the sediment. Now from here, the return journey of the carbon to the atmosphere starts. Basically, when these animals respire, in these animals, human beings are also been there. When they respire, they give out CO2 back into the atmosphere. Plants also, during the daytime, they show the process of photosynthesis, but during the night time, they are completely respiring like the human being. They also give out CO2, and the CO2 go back into the atmosphere. At the same time, the fossil fuels, for millions of years, we have been now extracting the fossil fuels. We are just using these fossil fuels, burning the fossil fuels in our cars, which are increasing day by day, and we are returning back this entire you can CO2 once again back into the atmosphere. Also, there are industries which are coming up. These are also emitting huge amount of CO2 into the atmosphere. So if you see, only and only one source of CO2 absorption is there in the atmosphere, that is nothing but the plant. But the returning back of the CO2, there are four: respiration from the plants, respiration from the animals, the industries, as well as burning of the fossil fuel. Now we are cutting down the trees, so the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere is increasing, and it is giving rise to various problems like climate change, global warming, and etc. And this has led to a huge amount of CO2 in our atmosphere. So we have to plant more amount of trees in order to have this nutrient cycle, that is carbon cycle, working properly. Thank you all for patiently listening to me. Thanks again.